Okay, here we go for another recipe this week. The whole thing with this recipe this week is it's not so much about the chicken, but it is about the gravy. Okay, so we're gonna make gravy for you guys this week because I've had a lot of people write to me leaving my comments that they want to know how I make my gravy recipes. Okay, so I figured what I would do is most of the time, 90% of the time, when I do gravy, I usually use whatever meat that I'm searing or baking or anything like that. That's just me. That's just what I do. So I'm going to show you how to do a recipe kind of like this, okay, with the chicken drippings. And then I'm also going to show you in the same video how to make like a really, really easy cut down version of it. One's going to be with the roux, okay, so one's going to be with butter and flour and the chicken drippings, and the other one is going to be with cornstarch and water. Okay, we'll show you that when we get on to that. But I'm going to show you guys how to, and remember, this is about the gravy. This is not about the chicken necessarily. Okay, we're going to push some of this stuff aside, and I'm going to show you guys what to do here. Now, this is something that you have to do if you want crispy chicken. Okay, so what I did was, obviously, I rinsed my chicken, and I've already patted it dry before, and we're going to pat it dry again. We're going to do both sides. Just pat it, you know, just pat it lightly so they're not dripping with anything. Okay. Okay, so, and remember, this is the paper towel. Nothing came through the paper towel, so I don't have to worry necessarily about any contamination. This is my chicken flipping hand. Okay, this is very important. You have to do this step if you want to get crispy chicken. All right, the only thing we're going to do is we are going to use, one second. The only thing that we're going to do here is very, very simple, at least for right now, okay, is we're going to just put kosher salt on both sides, okay, and you can put this on pretty liberal. You'd be surprised, it looks like a lot, but in theory it's not. Now, after you do this, we're going to flip it around. We're also going to do the other side, okay? And like I said, be liberal with it, because make sure it's nice and coated. And this is what we're going to do for right now, okay? I just used, just so you guys know, that's the kosher salt that I use. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put this in the refrigerator for about an hour. Okay, so we're going to let the salt's going to draw some of the moisture out of this. We're going to dab it again, and then we're going to re-season it. Okay, so I have some seasoning here. It's just my concoction of it. It's very, very simple. It's a half a teaspoon of garlic salt, garlic powder, and cayenne pepper. If you guys don't like cayenne pepper, you don't want that little bit of heat, just leave it out. That's all right. No biggie, either way, okay? So I will be back with you guys in an hour when I turn around and pull this out of the refrigerator, and we'll show you what's next. Oh, and you're also going to need one other thing. You're going to need a cast iron skillet. People have been asking me to do more cast iron things, so we're going to do our chicken in a cast iron skillet today. We're going to do it on top of the stove, sear it, get it nice and crispy, and we're going to finish it off in the oven at about 400 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes, depends on your oven. All right, so we'll be right back with you guys in a little bit after this gets done in the refrigerator. See you soon. Okay, so we got our chicken out of the refrigerator after being salted. What we're going to do is we're just going to dab it once again just to make sure all the moisture's off it. All right, very important. All the moisture's got to be off the chicken because it's about getting a really crispy skin, right? So that's what we're going for here. Well, I mean, the recipe's actually for the gravy, but you want to make sure. I figured I'd do a twofer today, right? All right, so we dabbed our chicken over here. All right, so let's get that back in frame. There we go. And we don't have to salt it anymore. All right, but what we are going to do is, and this is all preference, it doesn't matter if you guys want to do this or not, it's totally up to you. It's that little bit of spices that I made up, right? Garlic salt, garlic or garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of cayenne, half a teaspoon of each. All right, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can. We're just gonna sprinkle a little bit on this. Now you can also turn around and put this under the skin as well. All right, so we're gonna do that. So I do both sides like this, so I don't have to go under the skin. So we always make sure that we do the bottom part as well. All right, and you put as little or as much as you want on this. Now I do have the cast iron skillet heating up behind me, so that'll be ready when we decide to throw this on, which will be just in a couple of minutes. Now I realized I forgot to run down all the ingredients for this, but you've seen it on the cutting board before I did the chicken, but I'll put that in the description box below as well. Okay, let's get over to the cast iron. We're going to show you what we do with this. Okay, oven 400 degrees. We're going to put this in for approximately 35 to 40 minutes, like I said before, depending on your oven. Okay, so here we go. I put a little vegetable oil in here. All right, about 2 tablespoons, say. Let's say 2 tablespoons. We're going to start with the chicken. Oh, these are chicken thighs too, bone in. I don't know if I said that or not, but we're going to start with the chicken thigh skin down. Okay, just lay it right in there. We're going to put all 4. Now your pan's going to cool down because you're putting kind of somewhat colder chicken in that. You can take your chicken out if you want to. I don't know, 40 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes prior to cooking it. That'd be okay too. That's not going to hurt nothing. All right, so this is what we're going to do. And I don't know how many of you caught that I didn't season with pepper these chicken thighs, but we're going to do that now. All right, so we're going to little black pepper. I do this with chicken thighs when I try to get a crispy crust. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just force of habit or what it is, but that's what I do. Now, we're just going to leave these in here. This pan was about 400 degrees when I dropped these in. It's probably cooled now quite a bit. Let's see what we got, because it does. Yeah, this cooled down to about 310. All right, so we're on a medium heat. We're gonna let this heat render this fat down. We're gonna get them nice and crispy before we put them in the oven. Like I said, I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. This pan is gonna go on the 2nd or 3rd rack from the top. Okay, so from the top of your oven, 1, 2, 3, that's where the rack is. This is where this is going. All right, I don't think people realize how important that positioning is when it comes to your oven. It's super important. I've had people say, well, my recipe didn't turn out like that. And the first thing I think of, and I say to people, is when you put things in the oven, did you have it on the right rack? And they're like, oh, no, I didn't have it on this rack. I said, well, that's the issue. So we're taking this further away from the bottom. The reason for that is because I want the heat to rise and then kind of push back down on the top of the chicken skin on the top. That gets it nice and crispy. Now, if I was trying to brown something on the bottom, I'd put this on the lower rack. Like if I was doing a cast iron pizza or on a pizza stone, I'd have that all the way on the bottom of my oven. And then you would get the brown bottom. I'm not trying to do that here. So 3rd rack from the top, there's a little story on oven positioning, okay? All right, I'm gonna let these render down. These are gonna be, I don't know, probably 10 minutes or whatever, 10, 12 minutes. We'll bring you back when that time comes. We are gonna flip these. When we flip them, we're gonna put them in the oven. So I'm gonna flip them a couple minutes. After that, they go in the oven. But I'll show you what the skin looks like. These are gonna be super crispy, and the chicken gravy, that's the recipe, not necessarily the chicken, but it's a chicken gravy that I'm gonna make along with this. It's gonna be fantastic. And, all right, so let me show you what I got going on here now. These have been going for a little bit. We're just gonna, like I said, just give them a little render here in the pan. Look at how beautiful these look, right? Okay, and we're gonna flip these over now. This is exactly how you kind of want these to look, okay? So you got a little bit of this fat now rendered down. Now it's all going to cook from this side the rest of the way. All right, we're going to let these go here for a couple of minutes, and that's it. We're going to throw them in the oven, basically. Now, what you see here as far as a lot of the discoloration is the spices that I put on it. Okay, it's not burnt, it's just like that's what that is. All right, so 5 minutes have gone by, and we just want to show you what the underside of these look like now. How beautiful is that, right? So remember, skin side up no matter what. These are far from being done, but this is kind of what you want, okay? Look at that. And I like doing these as far as because it's dark meat. Because dark meat's very forgiving, right? It's not like a chicken breast. So, because chicken breast, you know, white meat, that has a tendency, once you push that past, I don't know, I cook my chicken breast to like 155 and I let it rest and it gets to about 160. You know, it kills all the bacteria. It's completely safe at that temperature. But this here, you can cook these to 160, 165. You can go to 180, you know, 185 on these here, and they're still going to be juicy. So we're going to try to get these somewhere around like, I don't know, 170, 175. Take them out, let them rest, make the gravy, and then we'll be on our way. We'll serve this up, okay? But for right now, these are going to go in the oven. So in the oven they go. We're going to set the kitchen timer. We're going to go for 35 minutes, and then we're going to check the temperature. As long as the temperature is good and the top is nice and crispy, that's all we're looking for. As soon as these are done, we're going to bring you guys right back with us and get this plated up. Okay, so our chicken has been in for about 40 minutes, and this now is what it looks like. This looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, and this is the way it's kind of supposed to look, right? Beautiful, beautiful chicken. All right, so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this, but let's show you what the underside as well. All right, it's all. This is ready to fall off the bone. Awesome stuff right here. We're going to take this and we're just gonna get out some of the grease like that. I'm gonna stick these on a plate, and then we're gonna start making our gravy. Okay, so we're gonna let these rest now. I'm not going to. Boy, they look really good. They smell good too. Good Lord. All right, so the thing that I just want to let you guys know is, first, if you guys are using a cast iron pan, which I really hope you are, because this is kind of part of this whole thing, okay, cast iron cooking. We're gonna tip this up a little bit, and we're gonna take some of this grease, and I just have a bowl. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have a bowl off camera, maybe on, yeah, it's off camera, and we're going to get probably 90% of the fat, just like that. So this is what we wound up with in fat. We don't want that in there, okay? Because we're going to add our own fat to this. Okay, so now with all of this drippings from the chicken, all this stuff that you see, this is all flavor. We're going to leave that right in the pan with that little bit of grease, okay? And then we're going to get going making the roux. We're going to make another roux, okay? I'll be back with you guys in just a couple of minutes. Get prepared to do some roux. We're going to need some flour, some butter, salt and pepper, and a little chicken stock, and some shallots and some thyme. So you guys go ahead and get your ingredients ready. We'll be right back. Okay, so it's time to make the roux. And I know, like I say in my other videos, a lot of people think that making a roux is like this big catastrophic thing. It's not. It's very simple. Just follow me along. Don't panic, kind of thing, right? All right, so we got about 3 tablespoons of butter, and we're doing 1 for 1, which basically just means that we're doing 1 tablespoon of butter per 1 tablespoon of flour. Okay, so we're gonna let this melt down. So there was a little bit of grease left in here, so we might do, so you have to compensate. So the flour is going to wind up soaking up the flour is going to wind up soaking up all the butter and the fat from the chicken. Okay, so you have to make sure that you have enough butter to flour ratio. Okay, so that there looks pretty good. We're going to switch over to the whisk. All right, so because there was just a little bit of fat left in there from the chicken, we're going to do 3 tablespoons of, oh no, you know what, geez, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do first is we're going to put our shallots in. I forgot all about it. I thought I was making something else for a minute. Oh boy. Well, I've been cooking all day, so there you go. All right, so medium heat. And we're just going to let the fragrance get out of that thyme, and we're going to just cook down the shallots a little bit. Okay, so once again, medium heat, 3 tablespoons of butter so far. That's it. All right, so you can see it's starting to bubble, so it's getting nice and hot. I'm going to kill the oven, and we're just going to saute these for, I don't know, maybe 3-5 minutes, somewhere around there. We'll see how soft they get. Okay, so this is all we're going to do. So our onions are cooked down a little bit. We're just going to take the pair of tongs here and take out the. We're going to take out the thyme. Boys, this smells good. Nothing like a homemade gravy, huh? Now, if you guys want this smooth, you guys could always, very easily put this through a strainer and not have the onions in there if you want to. I personally like that, so I leave them in. All right, so on to this next step now. Now, the next step here is actually making the roux. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, just like this. At least 3, I should say, because we had a little bit of grease in there from the chicken fat. Okay, so we'll see how this goes about, and then if we need to add a little bit more, we're going to do that. Oh. So we're going to cook this part now, get the raw flour taste out of this. Actually, this ain't looking too bad. Going to get this to like a caramel color. Try to do that with all gravies. You got to cook that flour down, guys. You can't just put it in and then go to the next step. All right, so this is getting to be good. And all that stuff, all those little bits came off the bottom of the pan. That's, like I said, that's all flavor. So don't be afraid to, don't scrape that and then make the gravy. Make sure you leave that in the pan It really does elevate your gravy a little bit. Okay, so that looks good to me. I think the flour did its job. I think we cooked the raw taste out of that. And oh, we're going to throw some chicken stock in this now, okay? So a little chicken stock. This is where it's going to start kind of binding up a little bit, see? Okay, so we're going to keep pouring so it gets liquidy all the way around. Then you can stop like this, and then you can see exactly what you got. Now, if it becomes real bound up, you add more. You add more chicken stock, which I'm going to, because you can see that it got a little bit tight. All right. There's no difference really from making chicken gravy to making like a beef gravy, okay? And I'm doing a recipe for that as well. So if that's not up by time this recipe is done, that will be up. So I'm going to do 2 recipes, one for chicken and one for beef. Now see, that to me that's still a little bit thick, so I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. And remember, the more heat that you put to this, you're activating that flour, it's going to become thick. Okay, add a little bit more. I'll put all the ingredients and measurements and stuff down in the description, you know, so you guys got this. And leave a comment if you guys want to see something, want me to make something. Leave a comment, you know, subscribe. You know, I like the way my channel is moving forward. We're getting a lot of subscribers lately. Yeah, click the notification bell, you know, that cute little bell. Hit that. You'll see when I do a recipe every single week. All right, so this is coming along good. There's nothing on the bottom of this pan, which there shouldn't be. I'm going to grab me a spoon. We're going to give this a little bit of a taste for seasoning. Boy, that's just really good. All right, so what we are going to do now, though, is we're going to add a pinch of salt. Maybe a pinch and a half, right? A little bit of pepper. Another pinch of pepper. I'm going to stir this in. Another quick taste. I know I'm using the same spoon. I'm the only one eating it. I mean, that's perfect. That's how chicken gravy should taste. Okay, so there you go. And now remember, I put a little cayenne pepper on the chicken, so the chicken fat in this had a little bit of spice to it. So this is just a little bit spicy. It's not bad, but if you don't want the spice here and you don't want the spice on your chicken, leave it out. Don't put it in. So here we go. Let's plate this up. Let's have a good meal. All right, let's get some potatoes in here. I know I serve like a lot of things with potatoes, don't I? It's crazy. I like potatoes. I guess that's the reason why. All right, let's make a little divot. Just like that. So as weird as it may be, as weird as it may sound, I don't really like gravy on top of my chicken. And the reason for that is because I don't want it to go soggy. All right, so look at this. This is beautiful. Gorgeous. Got the shallots in it. Got the thyme in it. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so there's the gravy. Let's clean up my mess here, because that's just nasty. All right, let's see. Let's put that back where it belongs. Somewhere around there. All right, now for the chicken, we're gonna take a piece of chicken, put it here, And then we're going to just take another piece of chicken. And look at this chicken. Oh, it's beautiful. And we're going to take another piece of chicken and we're going to put it there. All right. So this, guys, is exactly how I do chicken gravy. And this is what I do to get my skin on my chicken nice and crispy. All right. And you hear me fumbling around over here. All right. And let's just do that for purposes. And listen. Nice and crispy. Okay, so this is how I make my crispy chicken, and really zoned in today on the gravy. Okay, there it is. You guys like this recipe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, put a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and we'll be right back for a little taste test. All right, so let's take a little taste test of this here. This is going to be great. I make this all the time, so I know this is going to be fantastic. That sound was almost like a chalkboard, huh? All right, oh, let's see what it tastes like. I don't know if you can hear that skin. Super crispy. Super juicy. Nothing's dry. Get a little bit of the gravy here. Let me see what we got here. Well, listen. If you're into gravy stuff, I urge you guys to make this. This is fantastic. I'm not just saying that. You guys have made other things on my channel that I get comments all the time saying how good it is. If you guys want chicken gravy with a chicken dish or something like that, make this gravy. This is fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I ran down everything that I needed to say in just a segment before about subscribing and liking and all that stuff. On that note, we're going to let you go. We're going to do another recipe, next week, and we'll see what we come up with. Maybe a little surprise, or whatever. We're just going to make some good food, probably, right? Like we always do. Okay, guys, until next week, stay safe and be good, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, so we are on to the second half of this recipe. This version is the easy version of making chicken gravy. Okay, so here's the ingredients. It's not too bad at all. It's a little bit of cornstarch here. We're doing 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 1 tablespoon of water, or you can use chicken stock, chicken broth, that's fine too, which we have here. We got a little bit of fresh parsley. We have a yellow onion. We have some salted butter. You can use non-salted if you want to, and you just, make the adjustments, once the recipe is almost ending. We got a little bit of vegetable oil, and we got some salt and pepper. That's it. Okay, so for some of you guys that don't know how to maybe cut up an onion, I'm going to show you how. We peeled it. We left the root end on. This is how I always do it. Okay, I'm going to cut this in half, set that aside. Get this stuff off my cutting board. This is really, really simple, okay? So all we're going to do is we're going to take our knife and we're going to go right down the center just like that, and just like that, and then we're just going to take, you see how, just like that, okay, and then we're going to go this way, and this gives you a small dice. Okay, that's it. That's all we're doing. Very, very simple. just like that. Okay, first things first. We're going to throw about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in our pan. We're also going to throw in a couple of tablespoons of butter as well. We're going to let this melt down a little bit. Once this is melted down, now I'm doing this in a cast iron pan. Be careful if you do it in a cast iron pan, or maybe you're doing it in a non-stick pan. I got this on a medium-low heat, okay? Cast iron, or I'm sorry, it's not cast iron, it's a stainless steel pan. Stainless steel gets very, very hot, okay? So you got to be careful of how much heat that you're putting to this, okay? We're going to throw about a quarter of a cup of onion. We're going to get these little translucent. The way you see how easy this is, and this is so much better than your store-bought gravies. Way better, and it's really easy. Way to see, not too many ingredients, and yet it's very good. So these have been going for about 5 minutes, and you can see the butter is just starting to become a little like a caramelized color. Okay, so the onions now are actually done. Our next step that we're going to do, now remember the first recipe was made with a roux. We're not doing a roux here. We're doing a cornstarch mixture, and that's the whole idea between the 2 videos, is to show you one that's just a little bit more complicated, the first one, and then this one is more easier for you guys, okay? You know, coming home at night and, you know, you need something to eat real quick, you want to make something up real fast, do this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to pour in our chicken stock, which now is going to cause this pan to cool down. Don't worry about it. Keep it going. So about 2 cups of a good chicken stock. Now you can make your own, or you can buy a chicken stock in the store. I use Swanson. That's just what I'm fond of, but you guys can use whatever you want. Okay, we're going to bring this to a boil. And as soon as this starts to boil, I'm going to back off the heat just a little bit. And then we're going to let this reduce. We're getting this now up to a boil. This is exactly where we want it. And we're going to do the simmering. As soon as that takes off a little bit, what we're going to do, which it is now, we're going to just back off this heat a little bit. And we're going to reduce this, I don't know, maybe like 5 minutes, okay? And then we're going to add the cornstarch and water mixture. All right, so hang in there, and we'll show you that as soon as this reduces for a couple of minutes. So about 5 minutes have gone by, and this is reduced a little bit, exactly where I wanted it. See, this isn't so hard, right? This is pretty simple. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mix up our cornstarch and water. So in here, I have 3 tablespoons of water, and then here it's our first tablespoon of cornstarch, 2, and 3. All right, now the only thing we're going to do with this real quick is we're just going to mix it up. Just like this. Now, the cornstarch is going to set up like almost like joint compound, okay? So you stir it just real easy. It'll loosen up. Just work it a little bit. That's why I use a fork, to get in between all the goo, I guess. All right, so now we're all mixed up. Now, the thing about cornstarch, if you make this a little bit ahead of time, which you can, just make sure you stir it before you put it in your pan, because it will settle. It will go to the bottom, no doubt. Okay, so that's it for that. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to use this as our thickener. Now you remember in the first recipe that we didn't do this. We used flour, we didn't use cornstarch. Okay, so cornstarch goes a long way. So stir it and stir it and stir it, and make sure you keep it as a simmer or a small boil, because that's what activates the cornstarch. Okay, and just do little increments. That's all you got to do. You don't have to pour it all in, because once this cornstarch activates, you're going to see it's going to become it's going to thicken up, and you'll know that it's thickening up as well. So a little bit more, and I'll just keep you with me now until we get to the end of this. Okay. Now the good thing about working with cornstarch is that if you get this too thick, you could just add more chicken stock or whatever you have. If you run out of chicken stock, you can put water in here if you want to. It's not going to kill it. It's not going to make it bad by any stretch of the imagination. And throw a little bit more in now. This is going to activate because I can see it in the bottom of the pan as soon as I drop that in. Okay. So this one here, we're going to take our thyme on. The only thing about gravies is you have to keep on it when you're making it. That's all. So I'll write the recipe I'll separate the two recipes in the description, even though it's going to be one video. I didn't want to separate them and have two videos. I thought that was, I don't know. Just didn't feel like doing that, I guess. No sense of having two videos when you could put it all in one. Okay, so we're thickening now. Definitely thickening up. Now, if you guys don't like a lot of onion or whatever, I just kind of like the taste of it. I like that little texture, which I said in the other video too. Alright, a little bit more. And this might be it. This might be where we need to be. Alright. Just keep stirring. It'll come together. Okay, so we're going to let this just simmer there for a second. I'm going to do the old taste test, see what the so good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a pinch of salt, and we're going to add a pinch of pepper, and we're going to stir again. And this really is all that you have to do to make a nice gravy at the house. All right, I'm going to put just a little bit more in. That's the thing with this recipe. Like, I can give you a recipe in the description, and then you may not like it because, you know, maybe it's too salty. There's too much onion. There's, you know, it's not thick enough. It's not thin enough. But you can adjust this, like I said. If it's too thick, add more liquid to it. If it's too thin, add more cornstarch. All right. So this is looking good now. I'll say it's very good. All right, little dab. So we probably use two tablespoons so far of this cornstarch and water mixture. Now I think that's a good consistency for gravy. Okay, so I'm not going to plate this as far as with food or anything, because we plated the other recipe prior to this. All right, so just make sure you take your time. We're gonna test it one more time. Yeah, it's perfect. That's what it is. I'm gonna do a little bit more pepper in it because I'm a pepper guy. But season to taste, however you like it. That's how this works. Okay? Now you can finish this off too if you want to make it a little bit richer. You can finish this off with a little pat of butter. And what we're going to do is we're just going to finish it off with a little parsley, just to make it look nice. Get a little color in there, right? All right. Get a little bit more flavor, because we don't have the fond in this one here. Okay. All right. I think that's about it, guys. Perfect. That's so good. Okay, what am I looking for? Let's do this. Let's get the old spoon out and see. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is kind of how I like my gravy. Okay, you want it thick, throw a little bit more in. Okay, so this is the easy version of how we're making, and then you coat the back of the spoon, which it does. We are done. Okay, guys, that's it. That's how I make. This is how I make my chicken gravy. If you guys like this recipe, you guys know the deal by now. Thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. Okay? We'll see you guys in the next recipe. Hope you guys enjoy this. It's very good.